Hunter Biden, who I have not hammered on this show. I know some right-wing hosts, they talk about Hunter Biden all the time. Most of his shenanigans, I think, are not all that interesting. They're just sort of depraved and gross and sad. But these really are interesting. The man is the poster child for the corrupt elite. And he's committed all sorts of crimes in virtually every genre, I think. And he gets off without so much as really even a slap on the wrist. He'll get maybe some probation for the tax misdemeanors, and then he goes into a diversion program for his gun charge. But I think Jenna Ellis found this still on the DOJ website. It would appear that Hunter Biden is not even eligible for this diversion program, which is a way to avoid jail time and eventually have the gun charge expunged from his record. Because the DOJ says, absent approval by the Office of the Deputy Attorney General, any pretrial diversion program created by a U.S. Attorney's Office shall exclude any individual who is accused of an offense related to child pornography, accused of an offense related to serious bodily injury or death. And then here's number 3. Accused of an offense involving brandishing or use of a firearm or other deadly weapon. We can see, we have photographs of Hunter Biden brandishing his weapon. So they're probably at the DOJ, they're going to try to be really, really specific about the definition of brandishing to exclude whatever Hunter did. Or they're just going to ignore it like our prosecutors do so often now when it involves politically favored people and groups. They're going to say, okay, never mind. Now, one of the criticisms of this corrupt elite ruling class and the way that Hunter Biden is just getting off with a ton of crimes, no big deal, is they're going to say, well, the lower class never gets off with these kinds of crimes. Oh, it's those rich, politically connected people. They get away with murder, but the poor people on the street, they never get away with anything. And that's not exactly true. These diversion programs are largely for lower class people on the street with all sorts of records and all sorts of bad neighborhoods. Plenty of street criminals and gangsters get these exact deals. I mean, this is the whole point of the Soros prosecutors. The leftist installed prosecutors who get into their jobs and they stop prosecuting street crime because they'll say, well, if we prosecute certain crimes, it's more likely to involve black people, and that would be racist. And for racial equity, we're going to let gangsters back onto the street. We're going to into pretrial diversion programs, and we're going to give them, bond, and we're going to let them off on probation, and all the rest of it, and they go commit more crimes. The distinction here with the corruption of the DOJ and the prosecutors more generally is not that it's the rich get one set of rules and the poor get another set of rules. Donald Trump's pretty rich, and they're going to try to throw him in prison for the rest of his life because he kept his own presidential documents for a little bit because he committed crimes that all of his predecessors committed and that Democrats who never even were president have committed. No, it's not a rich versus poor thing. It's just a politically favored versus politically disfavored thing. If you are a black street criminal in a Democrat city, you are more likely to get off the hook for crimes. You'll be put in one of these programs. And if you are the degenerate first son, the son of the president who commits all sorts of crimes, you're more likely to get off too. And if you're a conservative and if you threaten the ruling class, whether you're poor, whether you're in the middle, whether you're rich, they're going to throw the book at you. You could be a poor, deplorable, hillbilly, irredeemable white guy from the red states. You could be a Midwestern granny who was taking some photos in the Capitol Rotunda on January 6th, the worst day in history. Or you could be a billionaire president of the United States. Doesn't matter. If you oppose the ruling class, that's when they go after you. Right now, go to puretalk.com/Knowles. A company I'm proud to stand behind, and that is proud to stand behind us and our country, is Pure Talk. Veteran-owned with a 100% American workforce, they share our beliefs. That is why Pure Talk is the official cell phone wireless partner of the Daily Wire. But that's not the only reason. Pure Talk also happens to be the most dependable 5G network in the U.S. They're a top-tier provider at a fraction of the cost of other woke companies. You know which ones I'm talking about? AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, companies that don't care about you or your beliefs. Mix and match your plans to fit every person in your family. Choose from talk, text, and 5G data for just $20 a month, all the way up to unlimited data with a mobile hotspot for $55 a month. You vote with how you spend your money, so stop supporting woke wireless companies that do not support you. Go to puretalk.com/Knowles. You will get great coverage and save while you're doing it. Go to puretalk.com/Knowles. You will save an additional 50% off your first month because they value you. Go to puretalk.com/Knowles. Pure Talk, wireless for Americans, by Americans. Right now, head on over to hillsdale.edu/Knowles. Are you a few years or maybe decades out of school and wondering what the heck did I even learn and what was the point? You might think to yourself that you don't have the time to learn something new. If that's you, know this, you're not alone. It's not too late. Since 1844, Hillsdale College has been providing education in faith, freedom, and character. They've taken some of the core classes they teach on campus and made them available for free online for anyone who wants to learn. That is right, for free. There are 39 free courses to choose from, ranging from the U.S. Constitution, the Book of Genesis, the free market, and much more. They are easy to follow. They're self-paced, so you can start whenever you want. In fact, you can start right now. It's everything you need all in one place with no long-term commitment. Let Hillsdale College be your guide. Learn when and where you want. Go to hillsdale.edu/Knowles to enroll. No cost. It's easy to get started. hillsdale.edu/Knowles, Knowles, hillsdale.edu/Knowles. Last thing with Hunter, there's another story out. As I've said, I don't really like to dig in too much to all of his personal, saucy, disgusting scandals because they're just tawdry and they don't shed much light on things. This one does, though. Hunter Biden was a member of an elite LA sex club called Sanctum. It's just like all businesses that were started around 2012 and 2013, all these millennial businesses from, consulting startups to sex dungeons, apparently. They took the vowels out. So it's SNCTM, Sanctum. It's a private members club that prioritizes the safety and privacy of their esteemed members above all. And it involves a ton of Hollywood celebrities and big people in the news media, and I won't name the names, but you can read about them. They're really very prominent, famous people. And apparently the club was founded after the movie Eyes Wide Shut came out. So it's not just that Eyes Wide Shut parties really exist. Remember Madison Cawthorn, the Republican congressman, mentioned that there were Eyes Wide Shut parties in D.C., and then he was immediately just ejected from Congress. Well, it turns out the Eyes Wide Shut parties, they happen in Hollywood. They're real. They involve very wealthy, famous people. And they're consciously Eyes Wide Shut parties. They're based on the movie Eyes Wide Shut. So anyway, the club costs $75,000 a year to become a member, and it includes actors, rock stars, CEOs, even city officials, according to the LA Times. And Hunter Biden was a member of this club. What's most striking about the existence of this club is not that it involved Hunter Biden. If something is degenerate in America over the last 15 years, there's a good bet that Hunter Biden was involved in it. What's striking about this club is that it's no different from activities that have taken place since the dawn of human history among depraved, elite, esoteric, immoral people. It's been going on forever. Just after I read the piece about the elite LA Eyes Wide Shut sex club, I read a piece about an ancient Egyptian cult that got high on psychedelics and drank bodily fluid cocktails. This is just a story. I think it was on the Drudge Report. 2,500-year-old ancient Egyptian cult used to get high on psychedelics, drink fluid from places that they shouldn't drink it from, and also had all sorts of alcoholic drinks and drugs. An archaic vase from the era resembling the deity Bez, who is some demon that the ancient Egyptians worshipped, of fertility and war, showed traces of psychoactive substances. The cult members who took the drug would experience delirium, hallucinations, and heightened libido. They would use this to trip during their religious ceremonies, and the religious ceremonies would involve orgies, would involve all sorts of orgies and weird, gross activities. This is the same thing as the LA Eyes Wide Shut sex club. The LA sex club is called Sanctum. Sanctum, meaning holy, coming from the word to consecrate. The LA sex club, I guarantee you, involved a lot of alcohol and drugs. And then it involved a lot of weird ideas about what a human being is and how we relate to one another and what is sacred. It's not just that these guys were getting their jollies by bumping uglies in some weird dungeon in Los Angeles. They considered this to be holy. The way that our society talks about Pride Month and all the weird sexual rituals involved with pride, they speak about it as though it is holy, as though it is virtuous, as though it is a kind of religion. Because it is. It's the same old kinds of cults. It's the same old kinds of demon-worshipping cults that we've had since 3,000 years ago in ancient Egypt. And people often don't realize when they're in a cult. People often don't realize when they're engaging in religious rituals. I bet a lot of the guys at that sex club, they just think they're having a fun time and they're cool and they're modern and they don't believe in anything, man. They're doing the exact same thing as an ancient Egyptian cult consciously worshiping demons. Can't get away from it. Human nature just remains the same. Boy, what a great clip that was. Make sure that you ring that bell, subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.